Well, hello, and thank you for joining us on the first ever episode of Retro Rewind. Before we join the other hosts, I would first like to explain what you can expect from the show going forward. Retro Rewind is a podcast with special guests, and we will have a general discussion on retro games, retro consoles, and the era. As you all get to know us and our guests and our personal gaming history, we would love to know yours. So please don't hesitate to leave a comment or to participate in the chat. We would thoroughly enjoy that. So let's get into it. All right.
Hey,
What's going on,
guys? What's going on?
What is
What's
up,
up,
everyone?
Chat? Hello.
So this is Retro Rewind. I am your host, William, aka Stadia Pro Gaming.
I'm Ray3473. I am the gaming cyborg.
I am Blake, obviously from Blake Stadia.
And I'm Jeff Janak, obviously from Jeff Janak, probably the oldest one here, maybe the oldest one in the community. Looking forward to the chat.
Well, we have some great topics and some great guests tonight. One of our guests may be a little bit late, but I'm going to go ahead and bring in our first guest, and this is
the first ever
Ryzak.
guest. The first ever guest.
Yes.
First ever.
What's Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Oh, you guys are awesome. That was a heck of an intro video, by the way. I'm not sure how much you paid for that, but it was money well spent.
Lots of money, man.
Brought back old memories, huh, folks?
100%.
That was beautiful.
Absolutely. So, Ryzak, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself, just in case the community doesn't know? And then I've got a topic for you, sir.
Oh, that's great. All right, yes. So I'm Ryzak, Ryzak Gaming. I'm part of the Stadia Bash Community Network. I stream on Thursday nights. Didn't this past Thursday, but that's okay. I'm also the host of the game show Game Over, which we do every other Thursday on the Stadia Bash Community Network. And pretty much all of you guys except for Blake, so I'm going to have to get that sorted out. Have been a contestant on there, so... yeah, that's about it as far as the streaming wise goes. But you know, I'm a really young gamer. You know, I'm only like 14, 15 years old. You know, it's really good. So I'm not really sure I'm going to be knowing this retro stuff, but we'll figure it out.
I'm sure you'll have some input. So, how is everybody? How are you doing today, Jeff?
I am doing well. Looking forward to this. As some of you may or may not know, I do a retro stream on Friday nights, PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. And I've been gaming since before most of you were alive. So I'm looking forward to this.
All right. Blake, how are you doing today, man?
I am doing well. I have been. The moment you dropped this to me about this idea and doing the retro rewind, I have been pumped. I've been reliving some of my old games on YouTube, and I'm like, I need to get an emulator or an old console just so I can relive those days. And that intro as well, as we were saying earlier, absolutely done it for me. Honestly, just seeing some of those games, some of those I've never saw. Others I'm like, oh man, I almost forgot that one didn't exist. So yeah, but no. Besides that, I'm good. I'm excited, ready for this.
Awesome, man. Yeah, the intro definitely gets you pumped. I know all of us have had discussions on trimming it back some or changing games, but it's fantastic. Okay, Ray, how are you doing today, sir?
I am doing great. It's a beautiful sunny day out here in California. I'm so pumped that I got up at 3:30 in the morning, just smiling. Just could not wait to do this show today. So I am happy to be here, brother.
Well, that's fantastic. And we've got a first topic for today, and it's probably going to run pretty long. And I would certainly like you guys to join in the chat and answer as well. But what is retro and what does it mean to you? I'm going to go last because I brought some visual aids. But let's start with Ryzak and go to Ray and then hit the top row.
Ooh, man. Why don't we start with me? All right. First off, let me just say in extra part of what I should have said earlier is thank you for having me as you guys' first guest. This is fantastic. So, retro. What does retro mean to me? Wow, a lot of things. I think when I think of the name retro, I think about the days going to the shopping mall, hitting up the arcade, just dumping quarter after quarter into all of those old joystick games. So I would have to say that is what retro is to me. Just anything 80s, anything arcade, all the classics, stealing quarters from my parents, drop me off at the mall, chase girls around for a little bit, even though they weren't interested. And then we'd go hit up the arcade, right? So that's retro.
Wow.
Right on.
Wow. Well, guys, retro to me means vintage, nostalgia, the good old days, the music, the clothes, and the video games. That's what retro means to me.
All right. How about you, Blake?
Retro for me is the feeling and the atmosphere you got with your friends, where you literally had all the time in the world. Life would never end. The day would last for weeks, and you and your friends would sit solid hour after hour. Your backside is gone numb. Your legs have got pins and needles because you're leaning in. The keypad on the controls have all gone numbed out, and you're just drinking energy drink after energy drink, playing the same level over and over and over again. It's a feeling I got with my friends, just sitting there taking turns playing some of those old games. That's retro to me.
That's retro to you. Okay, Jeff, since you're the oldest one amongst us, by title though, you gave yourself. What is retro to you, sir?
It's a hard question.
Dinosaur.
Sometime within the last century.
Pretty much anything where there was a 1 in the first digit of the year. And somebody, I think it was Eli in the chat, and if it wasn't you, I apologize, said PlayStation 3 is not retro. And the fact that PlayStation has backtracked on not being able to buy stuff out of the PlayStation Store on the PlayStation 3 now and the PSP, you could build an argument for that. But yes, anything I think anything with a 1 in the first digit of the year. So when I go and I do my tweets on This Week in Retro, which we'll get to later in the show, and I see stuff, 2005. That wasn't that long ago, even though it was really a decade ago. So I'm not sure why. I'd like to know what the chat thinks. Where do I draw the line? Is it, where is the line? How far back do we go? Where do we start? Because, is 2003 retro? Okay, maybe to Eli it's not. Maybe to me it's not. I don't know. So it's the stuff back in the days, like you guys said, playing in the arcades, playing on my VIC-20, playing on my Commodore PET, a lot of text-based stuff. We didn't have graphics back in my day. It was all text-based, and you had to use the world's most powerful graphics engine back then. Your mind.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think retro to me is probably anything, PS3 or PS2 and earlier. But I go for years. So my retro years are like 86, 87 to 94. Those are the big retro years for me. Ninja Turtles were big. Saturday morning cartoons were all the thing. And NES was my console of choice at the time. But I would say definitely 87 to like 94. And I would like to share a few visual references real fast with you guys. And that wasn't correct. That is my horrible desktop. There we go.
You didn't have the wrong browser up there.
Yeah, I did.
It's on the other screen.
So, all right. So, of course, you can't have retro these eras without a nice BMX bike, man.
Look at that.
Thank you.
All right.
Dude, I remember my Diamondback, man.
If that doesn't spin, we have a problem.
No. But bike with the banana seat, that's retro.
So when I think retro, that is burned into my head. Here is another one, and this isn't a good image. Bicycle shorts. Everybody wore bicycle shorts from 1989 to 93.
What the?
Yeah,
did
but
Jeff send you a screenshot of his outfit?
Hey, man, what did I have? Manto?
Oh, no, Ray. Oh, no. All right, then I got one more. Now, this came out in, the late 80s, and this thing sent more people to the emergency room for their ankles than any other product in history, I'm sure. It is called a pogo ball, and this thing hurt so many people.
Oh,
yes, because back then, we didn't have helicopter parents. So you could just take whatever, go out there, and you came home when the street lights came on. Now with the helicopter parents, like Ray and those other ones who, you put, if you were going to do something like that, you'd have all these cushions all around in case your little prince or princess fell off.
We had concrete. We had the concrete. So if you hit the elbows,
you learn hard.
Yep.
Yeah, and you just got up and walked away. You just got up and you just kept on going.
Now, when I was a kid, if you did this today, somebody would call the police and start a search party. But on Saturday mornings, I'd wake up and everybody would be sleeping. I'd watch 3 or 4 hours of cartoons, maybe eat a cold piece of pizza. And then I would jump on my brother's bike because his bike was always better than mine. And I would pedal my butt down to the swamp. And I wouldn't show back up to the house till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And nobody was like, "Where have you been?" We were so worried. No, they were just like, go in the house.
No, the 80s were a completely different time.
Yes.
And the 70s.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
And just to that point, I mean, we hear these things all the time when these things pop up on social media. But you came home when the lights came on, and as long as my parents knew where I was going, now we got trackers and everybody knows where everybody is.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to in a way. As a parent, we can speak about that too. But the 80s was just a different time.
Whatever friend's house we ended up with, their mother, because they were all home, cooked us lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because back in they all in the day.
Hey Jeff, Alex sent you a message down here. I'd like you to.
Oh yeah. That he is not wrong. He is not wrong.
And absolutely, the PS4 lasted a very long time.
It did.
Very, very long time.
It's still going until Cyberpunk came out.
But you guys know it was all about the PS2. Come on.
Here's Dr. Spaceman dropping some knowledge.
Woo, the Amiga.
Oh, look at that.
Secret Monkey Island. That was a fantastic series, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The original Prince of Persia, too. Never got into the Lost Viking, though. Never.
I remember the original Prince of Persia.
Oh,
and the lovely Sierra Rose.
In the chat. Freeze tag, hide and seek, duck, goose.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Oh, here's a great shout, too. Time Crisis. You remember that series?
Come on.
In the arcade, you could hit the pedal and pop up from behind stuff. That was fantastic. I dumped a lot of money into that game.
100%. And when it came out onto PlayStation, oh mate, I had to get it with the little guns, and you plug it into the cartridge area. You can do it in your very own home. Oh, I loved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How many of you, after playing Duck Hunt, turned the gun on the dog when he laughed at you? You didn't shoot. I won.
Trying to go for the pistol whip, but the cable wouldn't let you reach.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm going to go through just a little bit more chat. The design of the show isn't fully figured out yet. I was going to wait to the last 30 minutes to address the chat, but the chat may build up and we may not have time. So I just figured I'd go through some of it now.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
the
that.
Chat's on fire, so you
I was going to say,
need to.
Eli was saying my version of retro is anything that's 3D and in high definition.
Oh, right. Here's Rock with a good shout.
Commodore 64, baby.
And the Amiga.
Yeah.
Love my 64. Love my VIC 20. Loved my PET. Oh, yes. Back in the day, in different magazines, they would actually print programs. So you would then go in and you could actually retype them and then play the game. So buddies of mine, we would spend hours, and someone would sit and just read it out. And in old Commodore Basic, we would type it all up, and then there's an error. We'd have to find it. And Dr. Spaceman is not wrong. You people in your fancy gaming here. I'm just gonna lean back. I'm just gonna rock. I'm just gonna.
President Chisel, you're from a rock.
Hey, you know what? I think.
Hey, Dr. Spaceman, get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Hey, I think Grandma had that in the Waltons. That chair on the Waltons. You guys remember that? John Boy. Good night, Grandma. Good night, Grandpa.
All I remember is he was out hunting.
Oh.
Okay,
I wasn't a Waltons person, but the Beverly Hillbillies, yes, and I can just picture them in the opening scene with Grandma sitting up on top of the truck, like sitting in her chair.
Oh, that's
Gaming remembers the typing up the code in the old Commodore Basic.
Oh yeah, Mr. Urban World with another good shout. Now this is a nostalgic movie for sure. At least it's got a nice place in my heart.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
come on, great.
yeah.
You know, he was in Ghostbusters, man.
Yeah, he absolutely was. Okay, I got another topic here to bring up here. Let me click on her. Now, here's something interesting, and this happened to me a few times, but I've got one on the top of my head, but I'll go last. What game did you get as a kid that you didn't like, but found love or respect for it later in life? Either it was too hard, or you did what most of us kids did and open the box and manual, what's that? And just start trying to play it. But it's something you found love for later. Either you went back to it or just owning the game after a few years, you played it again and actually started to enjoy it. So we'll start with Ryzak, and then we'll head that away again.
All right, cool.
I mean,
Yeah, you
like-
guys are probably gonna we go me then you, Ray.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. You're probably gonna kill me for saying this, but it's probably The Legend of Zelda. You know,
Really?
as
the
as
gold
a, like,
one?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
like a 6-year-old kid when that came out, I had no idea what to do. Are you kidding me? I had no idea what to do. I've probably played that game at least 30 times since then because it's just any of the Zelda games are amazing, right?
Yeah.
But you know, Nintendo came out. Let's see, Nintendo came out. I was 5 years old when when regular Nintendo NES came out. I didn't know what to do. Nobody knew what was going on. You know, I didn't have like an older sibling that could tell me what to do, and it's not like I could go to the internet. So yeah, I think Zelda's probably that game for me.
Okay. Hold on before we go forward. Speaking of no internet, whoever picked up the phone and called a 900 number to get a tip. That's a different story, but
It was on the back of the game powers.
yeah, Nintendo Power.
Whose mother would pick up the phone and you'd lose your internet connection.
Oh, come on.
Hey,
and
that,
then you would have to then, reconnect.
Yeah,
Oh man, I
Yeah.
remember those.
painful, painful.
okay, Ray. Ryzak's game was Legend of Zelda, man. What's your
Can you-
game that you?
Can you pop up a picture for me? I think you have access to it. Do you?
I
Make sure you get the web browser.
can.
You guys see that right there?
Oh, hold on. I got to get the
All right.
old banner down.
All right. There you go. They saw it. All right. Sunsoft Batman. The Batman movie back in 1989 was a huge movie. They were selling T-shirts, hats, everything Batman. And me and my good friend Daniel went to I lived get that off. Bring my beautiful face back on the screen, please.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, you're up there.
I'm up. I'm on
Yeah.
the screen. Me, not the game. I don't want that game on there.
Oh,
I want them to
alright.
see. Yeah, they got it.
There you go. There, hold on. Let me remove it. There we go.
All right. So you can see my beautiful face. All right, guys. Got a little story to tell you, and it might teach the boys and girls out there a lesson. But back in 1989, Batman was a huge movie with Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer, I think, and Jack Nicholson. And so I lived, I was stationed in Alameda on the naval base, and they had a store. And I remember me and my friend Daniel said, "Hey, it's here. I just called. They got it in the store." And it was Batman. And so me and Daniel hopped on our 10 speed bikes and rolled over to the store. And when we got there, I saw it right there in the front, Batman. And I picked up the cover. I picked up the box and I was looking at it. And then I reached into my pocket and I was $5 short. And I said, "Oh my God, I left $5, back at home. I meant to put it in my pocket." And so right away, Daniel's like, "Well, what are we going to do, man? We drove our bikes all the way down here. I want to see the movie." And so, we didn't. So boys and girls, I didn't steal because I'm not a thief. But my stupid friend Daniel did something really stupid. I noticed he walked over to another game and he pulled the price tag off, went and put it on the Batman game. I said, what are you doing? Well, this game is really cheap, man. You should be able to get it now with this sticker on it. And then I noticed there was a white guy in a brown leather jacket, and he was standing watching us. And I said, hey, I don't think you should do that, man, because there's a guy watching us right now. And he was like, I don't see nobody, man. Come on, let's just go up to the counter and let's just pay for the game so we can play Batman. And I told him, nah, dude, this is wrong. Okay, just put the game back. You know, we'll just go back and we'll get the $5. This is not right. I'm not gonna do it. So put the game back. Started walking out. Hey, come here. The guy with the brown leather jacket grabbed us both. Shoplifters. And so he took us into the back of the store to meet the manager. And the manager says, what's going on? I caught these two guys right here stealing. I said, we didn't take nothing. You didn't take anything? No, we didn't take the game. You know, watch some moving stickers around. He did, not me. Can I go? and so I said,
snitches.
Look at that.
So I said, and so the manager told the guy with the brown leather jacket to leave. He says, why would you change the stickers? You know, we scanned the games. Oh, really? Yeah. So it would have came up the right price anyway. He says, but you know what? I'm glad you guys put the game back and you were heading out because I watched the video. You know, I was watching on camera and you put the game right. So you did the right thing. So you know what I'm going to do? And he reached into his back pocket and he had a Batman wallet. I said, you're a Batman fan too? Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight or something? A quote from the movie that Jack Nicholson did. He pulled out a $5, says, here, because you guys did the right thing, you know, because if you would have put it in your pants or if you guys would have ran out.
So he helped you pay for the rest of the game.
He gave me the $5. He said you did the right thing. He says if you would have tucked that game away or if you would have tried to buy that game, but you said no. So go and enjoy that game. So we got home and played that, put it in the, made sure, because I'm an idiot. I'm always new or old. I'm always, you know, come on now. You blowing into the game.
You probably still
do
blow
that
up
on
your
Stadia, right?
games. Yeah.
What's that? Shut up, Ryzak. So me and Daniel started playing the game. God damn it, we died. And we died and we died and we died and we died. I said, this game is so hard. I hate this game. And this game's a Ninja Gaiden knockoff. I hate it. Because as soon as we started playing, it was just like Ninja Gaiden. How Batman jumps back and forth. I was so mad because not only that, the robots and the characters were super hard. And so so later on back in life, there was other Batman games. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try this Batman game again. So I played it again. I actually got a little bit further. And I said, you know what? This game is not bad. This game is actually really, really cool. Did I ever beat the game? Hell no. It's one of the hardest NES games ever. Okay?
It is. Did you get to the Joker, though? That's the mission. That's what I couldn't beat.
Dude, I didn't even get to the Joker's mama. I didn't get nowhere close. I didn't get nowhere close to the Joker. But
is that a new nickname for Anthony, the Joker?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
but
funny.
I do appreciate the game because this, guys, just the detail of the characters' faces that they had on there, the cutscenes with Jack Nicholson, the Batmobile. I appreciate that game. So that's my story, guys.
It's a good one.
Well, that was a fantastic story, man. Your Batman story. All right, Blake, do you have one to share with us?
I do indeed. You know, when you asked the question, I was thinking about it. I honestly, I've got a list of thoughts and events and games that I kept coming back to because I don't know if you see my game style as I play on Stadia, but I'm a run in. I go nuts. Guns blazing. I don't think about it. Like there'll be certain games that will give you options to sneak in or be quiet or be silent. Yep. I literally kick the door down. But then the problem is, 9 times out of 10, I will die. So then I believe somewhere in my mind that if I repeat the same steps more aggressively, surely I'll eventually get through. And that will take me about like 4 or 5 hours. And then eventually I either get through or I give up and go back. And that's always been with me all my life, throughout my entire gaming time, I'm always been that kind of person. And just on a side note, other games I'll play, I've got friends who are like snipers and take their times on their medics. They it's basically rinse and repeat. Blake goes running in, he takes all the shots, they will pop a few, I'm dead, he goes in, drags me out, gets me behind cover, heal up, now wait, and I'll be like, Leroy, and I'll just go straight off again. So that's always been my style of play, and I just enjoy it. It gives people a hard time, but that's just what I do. But so I've always had that, well, especially when I was younger. And the game, if I had to choose one game, and honestly, I have the biggest respect for this game now more than ever. And I've got something I'm going to show on the screen in a minute. It's the bit that I struggle with, but it was the very first Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1. Now, let that one sink in, for some people don't really know, because the Metal Gear Solid franchise kept going. Go on.
Let this sink in. That's not the first Metal Gear. That was on Nintendo.
You're kidding me.
No, it's in the Retro Rewind intro. Actually, that little guy that runs to the left.
That's Metal Gear Solid.
Yep, the first one.
The first one.
I need to go.
Snake!
I started on. I'll be honest. My first console was PlayStation. I've always been Sony. I've played with a friend's Sega Mega Drive or someone's Nintendo, but I've always gone back. I've always been a PlayStation. I grew up in that environment, so that's where I started on Metal Gear Solid. But that game, I loved it. But I went in. It's a stealth game. You got to be kind of sneaking. You can go and shoot me, but you're going to give yourself a hard time. So I went in. I'm loving the chat. Everyone's going Snake. You know what? The amount of times I heard that name every time, I freaking died. The bit I got stuck on was when you go up against Grey Fox for the first time, and I've got a quick little clip on to show you if it comes up, and I'll just talk as it's kind of coming up. This is it here, and I won't share the audio, so the audio's muted here. You should be able to see that. But during this scene here, you go in here, you see this little nerd guy, and look at the graphics, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a brilliant game. Going against Grey Fox for the first time, honestly, could never get past this point. It stressed me out so much. I would scream. The amount of controllers I went through trying to get this point, because I was going in with my usual tactic of just running in, trying to shoot him, but he literally all over the place. I think you'll see this guy hides. Let me see if I can just skip it really quickly. I'll just show you. But yeah, side note with this game as well. This is it. I hated this. I could not go against a target that wouldn't keep still. Literally drive me up the wall. But I was like, just keep still so I can shoot you. Like, even just watching it now, I'm getting the frustration is coming back. But it was one of those things where you have to go in, couple of kicks, couple of hits, and then do a runner, and then come back in and rinse and repeat. But I didn't have that patience, so I would do this so many times, and I'll hear that stupid little phone call at the end, dun, 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 Snake, and I'd be like, game's stuck. First copy of this game, I snapped in half because of this point.
Yeah.
But then I left it. I came back. You know, I had some cancelling. No, I didn't really. No, I kind of had some time out. And then eventually I came back to it because I got a friend who lives 6 doors down from me. We grew up playing games, by the way, playing all these games together. And he would call me up. Blake, you never guess what? I managed to kill off Snake. So I managed to kill off Grey Fox. So really, how'd you do it? I've been stuck in it for ages. And he showed me. And he done the tactics. And then I ended up getting him to do it for me. But beyond that point, I actually got into it. But the reason why I've got a huge respect for this game, and I'll come off that screen now. Let me close that. The reason why I've got a huge respect for this game is because of it's got storyline. I believe that game was definitely ahead of its time because the replayability of Metal Gear Solid for me was unreal. The storyline and the depth of it, the different kind of playthroughs that you could do, you could change it. There was a few comical moments in the game that I love so much. You could change parts of the storyline if you did certain things a certain way. For me, that game was such ahead of its time, and every time you completed it, you unlocked something, so you can start again and maybe have a James Bond suit, or you can be a female character, and there's that one bit in the game where you can choose between who lives and who dies. I think it was it Mary or Meryl, and then you had the guy you just saw hiding the thing. I'd always choose the girl. Clearly choose the girl. Like, screw this nerd. I want the girl. which I don't think in the end you get with her. I think she dies at the end anyway. Spoiler alert. I think she dies eventually anyway. But anyway, the game for me I have so much respect for it because of it was so ahead of its time. The graphics, like 3D games at that point as well, and the intensity of the amount of stuff going on was again, I think was definitely pushing beyond its limits. And the amount of stuff you could do, the storyline, the quality of it, the music as well. I'm the type of person who's got a lot of an imagination, and I can get so lost into a game because of its culture. Some games for me bring culture. Some games bring an atmosphere. Only very few games give you a sense of culture, like you're there, you're in it. Like Cyberpunk's one of those ones for me. But again, we're talking about retro, so let's not talk about that. But for me, that game for me has its utmost highest respect for me. But bloody Grey Fox, I hate him with a passion.
So, is that your favorite Metal Gear as well?
100%, yes, definitely my favorite. But I need to try the Nintendo one now that you said that. I need to find that.
Oh my God, Sleeping Dogs and guys, it was a Stealth game too, and it was one of the
Dogs,
greatest 8-bit stealth games you're ever gonna play, man.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
8 bits worth that. Who needs more than 8 bits?
All right, Jeff. What game did you find an appreciation for later in life? Was it Atari? What was it?
The game that I hated in the arcade, but then I forget what console or where, maybe it was just a Windows base, was 1941. Hated that in the arcade, but then I started playing that a little bit more. Another game that I hated, and that's only, I think, because I'm Canadian, and no offense, I'm going to offend every British person here, that I still hate is any soccer game. So I still don't like them. But yeah, 1941, I hated in the arcade, probably just because I couldn't fly. And then I think when I got it on another console, I don't remember if it was a DOS, a Windows game, or if it was on a console. I just can't remember. I'm old. The Alzheimer's are kicking in. Then I sort of figured out how to fly, and I actually sort of loved it. So yeah, 1941. I do want to make a comment on what Alex was saying in the chat. He was bringing up the old MSN, AOL. I'm going to throw in ICQ chat. So back in the 90s, it would run in your Windows, and as soon as you connected online, it would then start up all of these different ones. AOL is a little different, but MSN Messenger and ICQ. And back in the I used to have, because everything was phone line driven back then, I used to have one of those 300-foot phone cables. So I could literally go around my entire house with my little laptop. I had a laptop. And then when I bought my house, again, I had this because I didn't want to disconnect, because then I would be in the middle of something, and it might take 15 minutes to reconnect. So I had all these wires running through my house. So when I was connected, and then it's like, oh, it's time to go to bed. And so I picked my laptop up very carefully, not to jiggle the wires, so I didn't lose any of my chat connections. And then I'd move it up to the bed and sit on the bed and do all of that. So yeah, Alex in the chat was bringing up some memories there. But 1941 was a game I hated in the arcade, but I played it later on, and I learned I figured out how to fly. That was always my problems. I would always crash.
Did 1941 even make it to console, or is that 1942? 42. I just looked. Yeah, 42 is what I thought.
42.
And it was the side scrolling shooter where you got all the attachments for the plane.
Yep, with the biplanes.
It was amazing,
bro. Pizza and a bottle of Coca-Cola playing 1942, man. Oh my God.
And I remember it was that game, and it was Blades of Steel as well. We used to rush to the video store to make sure that it was on the shelf, because we would find out when people were supposed to return them, right? And then, so Mom, you got to get me up to the store. I got to get Blades. I can only rent it for 3 days. I can't beat it in 3 days. And then at intermission in Blades of Steel, you could play. Was it Galaga?
Yes.
You could play Galaga at intermission. I actually have a story for you guys about the internet thing to piggyback off of Jeff. Okay, so the year is 2000. All right, I'm just going to set you down. The year is 2000. Okay, we're still on dial-up internet. Okay, my best friend goes away to college. He goes to college down in Virginia Beach, about 3 hours from where we used to live. He's all hooked up with his computer down there. Everything's great. He comes home. He brings his computer home. And I'm like, well, dude, I've got my own phone line in my room. So why don't you just go ahead and bring your computer over? Okay, you can hook into my phone line. And then I'll just jump on my parents' phone line when they go to sleep. And then we'll play StarCraft all night. And we did just that. We played StarCraft all night, and we were wrecking everybody because we were in the same room. So I knew exactly what was going on, right?
Oh, there he goes.
Well,
Look at that. There he is.
a couple weeks later, my parents get the phone bill. And my friend, because he had a computer down in Virginia Beach, was dialing up to a phone number in Virginia Beach. And so we had 8 hours of long distance Virginia. My parents had like a $380 phone bill for us to play StarCraft all night.
Somebody got their neck snapped for gaming, didn't they?
I might have lost my phone line, but I was about to get out of the house anyway.
Okay, we're gonna get into my game in just a second. But speaking of that, like if you would have picked up that phone and called the 900 number and said, "How do you beat Bowser?" Like, oh man, you had a big phone bill too. Let me tell you. Yeah. But hey, I will give this little story though. I was about 12 years old, and I'd stay at a friend's house in Schoolcraft all the time. There was a little grocery store called Harding's Friendly Market. And out front was a telephone booth, like a half a booth. It wasn't one you walked into, but you walked up to it. I know it's weird. They don't have telephones outside anymore. But
we have a few.
But
big red ones.
But you would walk up to this phone and you could put your money in and dial. Or we found out this trick. If you took the coin return and you started cranking on it, after like 3 or 4 clicks, it would think you put a quarter in. So we made phone calls for like a whole year for free. We called 900 lines, all kinds of stuff. And one morning we woke up and went to go make a phone call, and the whole phone was jerked out of the wall.
Oh, no.
But all right,
you can also unscrew the receiver, and you take metal, and then you could also do that as well.
I know you could use tones as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that with experience, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so my game is Blaster Master. I believe I was like 10 years old. I begged for this game. I ended up getting this game and I think Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse with the three main players. But Blaster Master, I played for 10 minutes, and then I played for 30 minutes, and I didn't like it at all. I didn't understand it. I didn't get a manual with it for one, and there's no internet, but I don't even think with the manual it would have helped me too much. It was very much a game way ahead of its time. You had a little here. Let me just bring up a little quick video so you can just see what I'm referring to here. It was pretty interesting. You're this little tiny vehicle. And the vehicle itself, if you upgrade it, you can end up climbing walls or hovering or upgrading your gun on your vehicle. But you could also get out of your vehicle. Yes. So you could get out of your vehicle, and you were this little teeny tiny person. And then you could go inside of these like mushroom houses, and it turned into a 3D game, kind of like Contra in some of the levels. It's very, very interesting. I didn't even know how to get out of my ship at first. But a few years later, I actually played it, and I beat it, and it was really cool. But yeah, so here's this little ship.
Yeah.
And to get to certain, it's kind of like Metroid. You're cut off from certain points of the world until you get upgrades to either, walk up straight up the wall or to break blocks, stuff like that. Cool. Yeah. So it took forever. And you could also upgrade your guy, your gun, your ship. It was very, very much ahead of its time. There he is outside of his ship. Just a little teeny tiny character.
Hey, SPG, you didn't use the Nintendo Play Maps and stretched them out and tried to figure out how to get through the maps?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have done that before, but not with this game. This game I ended up learning on my own the hard way. Just trial and error and stuff. But I like the shooting mechanics with the ship. but I didn't even know how to get out of it. But
Do you know,
it was
it's funny
very
you
much ahead of
mentioned
its
about
time.
the whole progression and like developing, you can build it and stuff. Like, again, for me, I'm used to seeing games like that in the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years, with this whole idea of like you've got choice within your abilities. Oh, maybe I want to have a big gun or extra armor and stuff. Whereas some other games, it's just rinse and repeat, isn't it?
Yep.
So I like the fact that you had that even back then. I mean, what year was that game?
Oh man,
Ooh, man, we're going
87?
87 or 80. I'd say about 87 or 88.
Yeah.
And also that game was ahead of its time because
Yes.
you're right.
Wow.
There was games that were just repetitive and stuff, but this
Yeah.
game, they thought outside of the box. But you know, Sunsoft also did that with
It was
Spy.
88.
It was 88.
Yep.
They did that with Spy. What was it? Spy Hunter?
Yes.
Remember Spy Hunter driving the car and
Yep.
you know, he could get out of the car as well and do stuff. So Sunsoft was huge. Hey, Sunsoft was huge back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, even with VHS to DVD to streaming, we've seen a lot. Yes, we have.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
True.
How many of you used to sit by the radio station when the new song would come on with your tape recorder and sit there and try to tape the song? When somebody was walking, you'd be like,
And then, man, it was, you know what? It was, I remember trying to record Dub's Cry, you know, and then I was crying because I told my mom to shut up. And then you hear this whack. And so it was like, you hear Prince singing Dub's Cry. I'm actually crying because I got hit.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our guest was late to arrive, but he showed up. I'm going to introduce him now, and I'm going to ask him the questions that we've all gone over already. So let's hear from him. Welcome, Chariot Man Gaming, to the stream. How you doing,
What's
brother?
going on?
How's it going?
Not much. You can hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, sorry. My apologies to y'all. 30 minutes freaking late, man. Cause the cable company had to change the cable wires and everything.
Yeah,
On
I'm
the
Jim
internet.
Carrey, man.
Didn't
Cable
you
guy.
tell them you had a stream?
Damn. Yeah, they had to change the wires and everything. Put a new cable box in the other room and all that. So you know that's it's all. Yeah, my apologies.
No problem. Chariot,
Yeah.
most people in the community know who you are, but give yourself a little shout out, and then I got a question for you to answer, sir.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
This was asked about who I am or something.
Yeah, just give yourself
it's
a little
true.
shout out.
Yeah, it's Cherry Man Game. I just, I'm really into games. I'm a Stadia, content creator. I just like, also Nintendo Switches. I just into different things. Making content. That's
Right on. Well, hey man, it's a
Stuff like
pleasure to
that.
have you. Pleasure to have you on. And the first question we went around the panel with is,
Yeah.
what is retro and what does it mean to you? What do you consider retro?
nostalgia. That's what
Oh.
retro's nostalgia to me. I mean, they got so many great. Look at I see like in the back of so many great games that's came out throughout the. Y'all know so many great games that came out from Nintendo and Sega. The battle of Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, the games like Mario, Super Mario 3. I could go on and on with that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and
Oh yeah.
Celtice. That one game, Celtice. I have one of them, Celtice. If you ever, it's a puzzle game for Nintendo. I don't know if you remember that. It's so many great
I
games.
don't.
That's
There is a lot of
Lot of
games in the
classics.
Nintendo library.
a lot of classics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So nostalgia is your answer to the retro question. Here's another one. What game did you get as a kid that you didn't like but found love or respect for later? Either it was too hard or you didn't understand it, but after a few years you liked it.
Damn, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I know. That's a tough one. Maybe Super Goals and Ghosts. Well, I didn't like. Well, so Super Goals and Ghosts was good because I got not Super Goals and Ghosts.
It was hard though. They had a difficulty though. The Super
Yeah.
Ghouls and Ghosts, yeah.
Yeah,
And
for the
Ghouls
Super
and
Nintendo.
Ghosts.
What's the one I didn't like? Damn, that's hard. That's hard. There's so many games because I liked a lot of games. It's oh man, maybe Celtice. I think it was hard. Yeah.
Oop. Right on. So I want to discuss a little bit about some arcade machines because I do believe all of us have put multiple quarters into machines before. We had a roller skating rink that had a giant video arcade, and we would go and hang out there almost every weekend, man. A couple of my favorites was the Tron arcade booth. I don't know if you guys have ever played that. It was multiple games. It wasn't just like one. And The
I feel like we
arcade.
could have a whole retro show about the roller skating rink now. Now you pop that into my head.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is retro.
Yep.
That's retro.
There's still a roller skating rink down the street from my house.
Yeah,
They
there's
still every. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
been, but yeah, they still exist.
Then it was the big thing that you couldn't take rollerblades there. You know, when the rollerblades came out, now
Yeah.
you can take the
Oh, I
rollerblades.
remember that.
Yeah.
So ultimate retro system. Starting with Chariot Man. What's your ultimate retro system? Like your favorite?
My favorite. Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Nice.
Super
Got
Nintendo.
a lot of good games on Super Nintendo, man.
NES. Super NES, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt.
How about you, Isaac?
It's got to be Nintendo 64 for me. I mean, SNES was fantastic, but you know, the 64 brought in those 3D graphics, and
Yeah.
I know there's probably going to be a section for this later, but yeah, I said it on my my show with Anthony, his spotlight the other day. 007 GoldenEye, man, that was
Oh my
a game
God.
changer
Come
for
on.
me,
Come on.
and I've spent so
Oh.
many hours playing that game.
That's
So
a good
yeah,
game.
there you go,
That's it.
Ray. So just strictly
Boom.
because of that and the impact that it had on me, I'd have to say Nintendo 64. I mean, it
That's
was
a
just
classic.
it was a fantastic system, man.
My
Fantastic system.
Yeah, the Nintendo 64 with GoldenEye. Holy cow, man. So many late nights sitting around with three buddies playing that game, man.
Yeah, I learned how to make that thing a boomerang, that controller. You know, you get so mad that you would throw that thing and hope it
Yeah.
comes back.
Well,
Somebody-
you know, one of my friends was just fantastic at this game. He would kill us all. What we would do is we would do the one-shot golden gun level or whatever, to where one shot, one kill. And I figured out what he was doing and how he was kicking all of our butts. If you don't look at the screen and look in the background for the people, and you just watch the hand, your hand will do this. And when it's locking onto somebody.
Yeah.
So he would just watch the hand and pull the trigger. Once I found that out, I started giving him a run for his money.
And then you could customize your game too, you know. So we used to do the 4-player split screen, and we would do Remote Mines Complex.
yeah,
that
that's
was the
good.
game.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
so I had a
yeah.
friend kind of like that if he could get the first kill, he could have a remote mine in every single spawn point, and the game would just be over.
Oh man.
That is awesome.
So yeah, 007. Because I mean, you not only had the multiplayer aspect that came into it, but just the campaign also. I mean, it
That
went right
music
in line
as
with
well.
the movie, right? Yes, absolutely.
right.
Pierce Brosnan, man, how could you not
Yeah.
like him?
I have to share a personal story real quick. My buddy and I, we played a lot of video games as kids, and one of them was the Sega system. And we had a NHL Ice or an NHL Center Ice game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Center Ice 94?
yeah, it was an awesome game. Liked playing it, but I thought I'd get over on my buddy. We were low income, so I had one really good controller and a broken one. So I invited my buddy over. You know, me being the class act, you know, that I am.
I remember those days. Ooh.
I sat my buddy down and said, "Hey, man, we're having a tournament." I gave him the broken controller. Well, I leave I'm playing and I beat him, and then I leave and go in the other room and I'm making tea or something, and I hear, "How are you doing that, Rob?" And then I hear pop, 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 pop. He keeps saying this pop, pop through it, like this noise. What he was doing was slamming on the controller and saying pop, pop. Anyway, what he was doing, there was only like 3 or 4 buttons on the controller, and one of them was the slap shot to put it in the net. What he was doing, he was maneuvering his players behind the net and he was passing it to them. That's how he was winning. He was passing into the net.
Hey, that's part of hockey. It's part of hockey, man.
Yeah, I know.
Hockey.
He ended up beating me, and I had to tell him that he had the advantage because he was used to playing with broken toys. That's what I told him.
I'm sure that was a good argument. That actually
Yeah.
held up.
Oh,
True
Well,
story.
I have my ultimate machine. Come on, y'all. Y'all, come on. You got to give it up. Y'all got to give it up for here. And then, come on. Look.
Tecmo!
technical ball, huh? Technical ball.
What was your
Yeah.
you used to use Walter Payton all the time, didn't you? Don't lie.
Man, you know I played my Niners. Come on now. But always got my tail kicked because if you had the Raiders and everybody had Bo Jackson on there, and you
Hey,
played the
Eddie,
Kansas
no,
City Chiefs, What's up, Eddie? And if you
Yeah.
played with the Kansas City Chief, you had the Nigerian Nightmare. But oh my God, this come on. My dad listening, he hated the theme music to Zelda. He hated the theme music to Mario because it would just go all night long.
Wow.
Damn it, Ray! Turn that Nintendo off. Take your ass to bed.
Oh, man.
And you didn't have save files either. I remember my sister was on the very last level of the original Super Mario Brothers, and she had it paused for like 3.5 hours because my mom made her do a bunch of stuff, and I went right over and I unpaused the controller.
Did anybody leave their game paused for like 3 hours and then
Had
go
to,
back to
overnight.
Remember those days? Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But go
I
back
remember
to,
that.
but to go back to play it and Mario moves, but there's still a Mario there. You get burning on your
Yeah.
TV.
Yes. Yeah. See, I've done that because I was trying to do the challenge. There was this suit with playing Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation. There was
Ooh,
two
great
challenges.
shout.
Yes,
Great
yes,
shout,
yes.
by the way.
Because there was two challenges: try to complete the game in under 45 minutes, and also to see if it was possible without saving the game. So no deaths. So you had to try and play the game without using a memory card. And I was like, challenge accepted. I couldn't do the 45 minutes, but I would play the game and I'll get so far, and I'll be like, my mum will be like, Blake, get to bed. You got school in the morning. I'm like, one more minute. Well, you say one more minute, one more time. I'm going to throw that bloody thing out the window. I'm coming. So I go to bed. Next morning, I go downstairs. Is it still on? Is it still on? Good. Come home from school. It's turned off. Mom! But literally, Mum was like, "You're wasting my electricity, young man. I don't care. Do you not believe I just got to see Sephiroth and I've not even got to the end yet? Oh, what's wrong with you? I don't care. Go do your chores, you idiot."
Yeah.
How long did
I had a good
that
relationship with my mum.
How long did that last fight take for you?
I didn't even get there. I
I
failed.
remember those
I
days.
completed it, but don't get me wrong. But when I was trying to do my whole without saving, I couldn't do it because my mum kept turning it off. It's a love-hate relationship back in that time. But yeah.
I love Final Fantasy VII. I made it all the way to
love
Sephiroth, and the last battle took me about 40 minutes.
Yes,
Like a long time. How about you, Chariot Man? Did you play Final Fantasy VII?
Never got into it. I don't know how I surpassed that. Oh, that Final
look at that.
You talk about that Final Fantasy VII.
Ray, I'm coming over.
The
Yep, not
black
the remake.
label,
Look at
y'all.
that, look at
The black label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that's the game that transformed Sony right there. That's the very same game that hurts Nintendo 64. They were supposed to get that game
Yes.
because of the cartridge space situation. I still remember that situation.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
during right, Zach, you remember? You know, you
Oh yeah, I don't know why Ray's trying to front on the cover of that because we all know inside there's a burned copy of that game that he bought out of some guy's French
But
coat.
I would say this though.
Oh, look at that.
I would say this: the most dumbest thing I did with the 64 is to not get Zelda Ocarina of Time. I didn't get that game. That was dumb. That was the dumbest thing I did.
Wow.
Not get Zelda Ocarina of Time.
That's a hell of a game to
great.
miss on the 64.
That game was that's an ultimate classic, and I didn't get it. The masterpiece.
You think about NES2 and how long it was like the console, right? Because you went through 3 Super Marios on that console.
True.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. And I know that we're in the next gen now, and I know that we're like 10 years or so before like these new consoles come out, but the competition wasn't there either in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And so like I was thinking when you were talking about some of the codes earlier, it's like I instantly started thinking about Super Mario 3 because I remember getting to that last level
Of course,
with the
got
ship,
it.
and as long as you had the frog suit, baby, you could just go right under the ship all the way to the end.
Yeah.
man.
Boom. Because I was going to ask you guys what's kind of like your favorite cheat code ever? Because I know that you guys use.
Come
cheat
on
codes.
now.
Man,
Come
We
it's
know
on.
it.
Come
know
on.
it.
Someone's going to say
Come
it
on.
before I do. Go ahead. Let's go around.
Oh, for me, it was Twisted Metal on PlayStation 1. Up, down, left, right, triangle, X, L1. Oh, I can't remember the rest of it. But you
They're
go
all
invisible.
variations of the Konami code, for sure. And that would be mine, is the Konami code. What is it? Up, down, left, right, AB, select, start, or
AB select start.
something like that.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's Contra,
Nuts.
baby.
Heck
Nuts.
yeah,
It's about
Contra was
that.
awesome.
Unlimited
GTA
live.
cheat codes. Good point. Oh, I love it. Infinite rocket launcher for me. I loved it. Kept the police coming. Boom, boom, boom.
And I remember, like, I'd have to remember all these things because we'd hear about them in school. I had this one friend. That's just what I was getting ready to go to. Was the
Game Shop.
or the
I
Game
read
Genie.
your mind,
Game
Rajak.
Absolutely.
Game Genie, another one.
Game.
Yeah.
And
Speaking
so
of
you
the
get a
Game
little book,
Genie,
and you thumbing through
oh.
that thing, trying to find the game of choice.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Game Genie, back when it was first released, it hit Canada first. It wasn't in the United States because Nintendo tried to do an injunction or something, tried to sue them so they wouldn't release it in America. They thought it would ruin their games or whatever. And
I never knew that.
And I had to reach out. I reached
never
out
knew
to
that.
my uncle. He lived in Canada, or he didn't live in Canada. He worked in Canada, and I asked him to
you're
buy
right
it
about
for
that
me.
Mortal Kombat blood sheet. Andy,
I never knew
spot
that.
on.
Yes.
Yeah.
The blood sheet code. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
most of the time in Canada, we got stuff way after
AB.
you guys. So you guys in the, I would read stuff and see stuff in chat boards about stuff. All my stuff, I in the 80s, I used to help run different bulletin board systems where we would download games and we get them. I don't know how we got them, but right from the publisher, and anything that was more than a day old, we didn't want. Had to be like, the day it was released, minutes old. We'd put it up on our little computers, and then we would start downloading and playing them. So on all those PCs, this is even before consoles. We heard consoles. We're like, consoles? Someone's gonna buy a box?
Yeah.
What?
All right.
I'm just gonna go spend 8 hours and hope my mother doesn't pick up the phone. I'm gonna download this game.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah.
I got a question, gentlemen. What was your first video game poster you put on your wall?
Oh.
That's a good one.
I can tell you mine's. It was Super Mario Brothers.
That was I can't even damn.
Mine was Golden Axe. I think it came with the. I think it came.
Oh my god!
It came with the
Remember that?
Sega.
Yes.
It came with the Sega.
I remember that. I remember.
I used to get the posters, the construction booklets.
Instruction booklets. Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Mine was Rocket League. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, if you could get all the demo discs back and all the AOL discs, how far do you think it would leave our universe or our galaxy? Like if you lined them all up in a row.
Just so you know, I
Yeah,
am on a demo disc, guys. The Xbox 360. I got interviewed when they did their 0 hour when they were launching Xbox 360, and they interviewed me, and I ended up on the demo. And there's like, hey, what's your name? Ray. How do you feel about getting your Xbox 360? And I'm like, I'm so excited. Oh yeah. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Kevin was there. He remembered. He was with me.
I never had gaming posters. I had one poster that said the one with the most toys when they die wins. And then I had all the rock and roll pictures of all my favorite heavy metal hair band up all around my room as well until we had to paint my room, and then they had to come down. They just never were allowed to go back up.
Yeah. I was gonna say you have so many different things that you probably liked when you grew up. There's all these different time periods that have happened, right?
Mhm.
The one thing that was always consistent and didn't change though was playing video games. My posters were sports posters or rock posters. To your point, when I was a teenager, it was the black light and the black light fuzzy posters. But you always just played games. So I don't know that I ever had a video game poster per se.
Yeah, I think I did, but I just can't remember. All I can visualize is all of my
No
Metallica.
no Street Fighter, no Mortal Kombat.
Nope. I would have
played
to
them. I
say.
just don't think I had the posters.
I would have
Oh,
to say
man.
it was Golden
Yeah.
Axe.
Yeah.
It was Golden Axe, and then it was
Golden Axe.
Grand Theft Auto 3's map. I had that on my wall
Grand
too.
Theft Auto 3 map. Yes.
So that thing was huge for the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had
I've
the
always
Mario-
been that guy throughout life that's talked about playing video games and everybody, kind of snickers and laughs at. So it's like finding a community like you guys,
Right.
where we all share the same passion.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
amazing.
Every kid I knew had a Nintendo. Everybody had a Nintendo.
Yeah, I think I had the Mario Brothers poster. I think I had that.
I have the GTA 5
Mario
map
3
over
poster.
there on the
My
wall.
favorite game, Mario game, Super Mario Brothers 3 is my favorite.
Right.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers
Super
3.
Mario Brothers. Yeah, that's good.
Did you watch that old The Wizard movie? It was the first. Now there was no internet. There was no. You might have saw it in a magazine after the movie came out, but the first look of Super Mario Brothers 3 was actually portrayed in that movie, The Wizard, with
Wow.
I forget the name of the kids that are in it or people who are in it now, but it was like an autistic kid who was really good at games, and they actually showed you get the one of the whistles.
Oh, Anthony. Was that Anthony?
Anthony, I don't know.
Used to love that cartoon, man.
Oh,
The Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Love that.
He used
Which
to come
one-
on after school.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Is that the one with the fat Mario, or is this
It's
the
the-
one with the End Zapper guy?
It's
Kid?
the one where they were real life in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And they were like in New York, and he
That was
like,
Captain Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was- and then it would
that was
go to the
Captain Lou
cartoon.
Albano that played the fat Mario, Captain Lou Albano.
But what about the Mario movie? With
Yeah, that
John
was good.
Leguizamo?
Yeah, I
not
remember
good.
that.
Yeah.
Not good.
I think Dustin Hoffman was Bowser.
God.
Yeah.
I think
It's
about
one of
those.
those-
I think about the Koopas with like the little teeny
Yeah.
tiny heads. You know.
Yeah, it's one of
Oh,
those
yeah.
movies that they messed with the lore like a lot, and I don't know, but it's enjoyable for what it is, but it ain't no
what
blockbuster.
about?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What about Street Fighter movie with John Claude Van Damme?
Oh,
Right?
yeah, that was
Come on,
hilarious. Back in 95 or something like that.
Yeah,
94.
they actually and they
And Raul
turned it into
Julia,
a
Raul
video
Julia.
game.
Raul Julia, the person that he died. Raul Julia.
Yeah. He
Yes.
died right before that movie was finished post production, I think.
That was he played.
Wow.
I didn't know
The,
that.
he
Oh,
played
wow.
the.
I didn't know
um,
that though.
He played the Addams Family. He
Yes.
was the
Oh.
father.
That's
Yeah,
The father.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
father. That's right.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
think-
beat Mortal Kombat, the original.
Bringing back
movie.
memories to me, man. You bringing back
Oh, I
memories.
just watched the new one.
Oh, I've not seen the new Mortal Kombat yet. I've got to see that. I'm hearing good things.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
What is that movie with the glove? The Power Glove? I think you're thinking of The Wizard.
Bringing back memories now.
I was about to say
Yeah.
Thanos, man.
The Michael
Yeah, and
Jackson
what-
movie. What?
What a NES was one of my favorite consoles. Like growing up, I had it probably 5 years longer than I should have. I probably should have
Right.
had Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But the worst accessory ever, and some people might say it's that Robbie the Robot, but no, it
Was
was
Rob
the
the
Power
Robot?
Glove.
Oh,
It
you didn't
was
like
the
that
Power Glove. The Power Glove commercial showed this dude putting a Power Glove on. He's catching a ball. He's throwing it at the screen. None of that happened, folks. None of it. You get the Power Glove, and this is how you had to use it to do Mario. This was jump. So you had to go. It
You
was
mean a television
I
commercial?
never had
live
it. I
to
never
you?
had it.
No,
No,
I
never heard
love the multiplayer adapter. So when you went over your friend's house or something,
Yeah.
you could have them have other guys play.
right.
So instead of having, two people, you could have 4 people play.
I had on the PlayStation 1, there's this weird controller where you got the controller, but it twists like this. It's like another way of moving left and
Yeah.
right. That's the only weird controller of that time I used to play with that would help me steer playing racing games.
Nah, my favorite,
Isn't
my
I don't know.
no, my favorite Nintendo controller was the NES Max. It had the
Oh,
little
wow.
turbo buttons, and it was instead of being rectangle, it was kind of like spreading out, and
We all know you
was-
need a
yeah.
turbo.
hey, when playing Gradius, man, instead of pew pew pew, it was more like pew 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 pew.
Mhm.
God.
Yeah. Speaking of Gradius, you or somebody said that spaceship game in the intro was Gradius. It's actually not. It is Life
No.
Force.
Life Force.
Yeah,
Which-
with the
Life Force.
eyeball. You had an
You
eyeball enemy.
love but did you play Life Force on Nintendo or did you play it on Sega?
I played it on Nintendo, and I did beat the game, but not without that damn Konami code thing. Well, it's not the Konami code, but it's very similar. You can get
Yeah.
21 lives on that game as well.
What would you
Hey, I
say is
know,
your favorite space game?
Ooh.
Waiting for someone
Favorite
to say
space
it.
game.
Because there was a lot. There was
Metroid.
a lot.
Metroid.
Oh, Metroid.
Metroid is a good one. Super.
Yeah.
Metroid was another one of those games where you had to upgrade your character, get different abilities before you could actually expand and go across the entire map. It was really interesting game.
Metro got Ray's ass whipped when he called the Nintendo hot tip line.
You hated that Power Glove. Oh man.
I was lost, man. When you had to spin underneath all the underground and Where the hell? Where am I?
Man, I begged my folks for that Power Glove for Christmas, man, and it was like $100 bill back in the day, if you can believe it. It was
Yeah.
pricey, man, and it
Which isn't
sucked
$100
so
now.
bad. Oh,
I was
yeah.
smart. I didn't even bother, man, because I knew what the answer was.
We had the track pads for the track and field game, and I remember my mom's friend came over and brought her daughter. She's like, "Let's play track and field. I'll beat you." I'm like, "You ain't beating me, girl. Ain't no girl beat me in no video game." So we start playing. Next thing you know, my side stops working, and I just blamed her for breaking the track
McDonald's
pad.
Treasure Land Adventures for Sega Genesis. I don't know.
yeah, I remember that, a horrible game.
Oh my god!
Oh,
no, man, it was the Burger.
No.
You remember Burger King came out with the burger,
The King games.
video games. the
McDonald's
King
Treasure
games.
Land.
They had like the
Wow.
Mario Kart type game with the cars.
cringe,
Yeah.
complete cringe fest.
Space Invaders. Oh yeah, another
Yeah,
classic.
Hey, I know
Space
I'm not the
Invaders,
host
dude.
of this show, and we're just over halfway. But I just noticed there's like 20-some people in here, which is absolutely amazing. If you guys didn't go watch that intro video, please make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you do afterwards. Like I can't say enough.
You know
good
what?
about it.
You
Like,
know what
get
we're
me
gonna do?
chills
We're
in
gonna
my
play it
arms
afterwards.
watching
Knock it
You
out the
gotta
park,
play.
man.
You gotta play.
All right.
You gotta play the intro
All
afterwards.
right, I wanted to plug you again because you guys did a fantastic job. I
You know,
like
right on.
Ryzak,
I will
put me in
be.
the mood.
he showed me that. I wanted to tell him, could you play that
Yep.
one more time? One more
That's
time.
fantastic, man.
Paperboy, y'all. Paperboy.
Yeah,
Oh, we can talk about some
Paperboy.
Paperboy now.
yeah.
Woo!
Paperboy was the whip,
Paperboy.
man.
But did you
Did
ever
you
play
try to speed
Paperboy
run
in the
Paperboy and
arcades?
see
though?
if
Did
you could get everything perfect?
Yeah, I could not.
No
I could
windows?
not. I'd hit every mailbox, but then I'd like hit a dumpster or something, or a trash can, and I'd
Isn't that
wipe out.
the game where you can knock people out with a newspaper?
Yeah,
Or
or
if you're
stop
walking
them.
The lady off, she come chasing you with the broom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
that
lawnmower.
was what I was aiming for. Yeah,
Every
Yep.
console vet gaming mentioned pole position, and I still today suck at car games because I never know how to brake.
oh,
Yeah,
same,
hey,
same. It's just accelerate
Or
and
I
go.
just, or I just don't, I don't brake, and I
What?
just, I just keep it go down, and
Yeah.
and I never brake. I crash into things. Even
I'm
today
gonna-
when I play Grid and other things, I
Same,
still.
same.
I'm gonna jump. I'm going to jump the shark and bring up a great franchise. You either love it or hate it. You
All
guys
right.
play the
better be good.
Wing Commander.
Come on now. The
Wing
cat.
Commander. Wing
Oh,
Commander
That's
even
it. That's it.
even had Mark Hamill in it.
Come on.
Great
all right,
actor.
all right, all right,
Commander.
all right, all right, but hold on. But did you like when they had when they started showing videos of people back
Yes.
in the 90s, they had actors and stuff.
Yes,
and
the third one, Wing Commander 3, was my favorite.
So you was a cat killer like Vet then, huh?
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, in a game, he killed the cats. Red Dead.
Yeah, they were
kills
an
cats.
alien race that were like cats or something. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and keep talking for a second.
Man,
I'm
you
gonna
gotta
bring
pull-
that up.
He kills cats
This
and you
game-
kill horses, huh?
Shut up.
Yeah, this is good.
I know.
Do you-
Or sparkles.
I'm gonna
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you something. Wing Commander was awesome. Plus, they did a Wing Commander movie, folks.
Yeah.
Wing Commander. Oh my God! Thank you for bringing that up, Will.
Oh,
William,
that
that-
dropped Carmen San Diego. Spent a lot of time playing Carmen San Diego.
Now there's
Look
Wing
at that.
Commander 3, Heart of the Tiger. It had pretty decent 3D graphics, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill was an actual
Oh
actor on the
God! I
set.
remember
Yeah.
this scene.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Right, Zach. I never cared where Carmen was, to be honest.
No,
I never really cared.
Dude, this was some top-notch acting here, folks.
Yeah, look at how young Mark Hamill was there, man.
Yeah. Which
It's just remarkable.
you know,
But this
was
was
a-
this was made during the FMV craze. Like when Sega tried to go CD, and then they made all of their games like have a full motion component to it, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you know, there was a Star Wars game very similar to that kind of makeup. I'm just trying to think in my head. It was on the PlayStation 1 where they had people
Yeah.
like that, and you could do different things. You guys remember what that was called?
Dude, well,
It's
there was
exactly
there was
the same stuff as
Warhawk.
well.
Was it Warhawk?
That might be it.
Warhawk.
That might be it.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I'm talking about Warhawk. There was also, guys, and I actually have a sealed copy, never opened, of
Have you
Crazy Ivan in the big box.
Oh,
Oh,
I didn't play that, but I played a lot of Iron Man. Ivan Stewart.
Ooh. Don't even get me started on
Yeah.
Marvel games. My favorite game was Dick. Oh,
yeah, man. Dick
I
Tracy.
remember Dick
Rick
Tracy.
Tracy.
I
Dick
remember
Tracy.
Dick Tracy.
There's a few games that are very similar like this. Dick Tracy is one of
I
them.
wanted that game. So I wanted that game. Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Yep, you got Dick Tracy and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They were two games for Super Nintendo or whatever that was very similar, but were actually pretty good games based on the movies and whatnot.
Yeah, they used to take games and put it on top of another game and just change the.
Yeah, I
it
mean
was
they follow the same.
engine.
Yeah, same damn
there was
game,
a
just-
lot of that going on. A lot of that.
Yes, there was.
Hey, so what about Saturday morning cartoons that turned into video games? I played the heck out of some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah.
Love. Probably
Which one?
of the
Oh,
best.
Turtle, I'm gonna tell you. I can go in.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time was
Turtles
one
in
of
Time.
and Turtles fight a champ. The turtle fight tournament for the Super Nintendo. You used to play that game.
Yeah,
like
it's
crazy.
like it was like a Street Fighter game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yep.
tournament fighters. Yeah,
My favorite one
What?
was the arcade, probably, and then
Yeah.
the NES one. That one was really hard too, but that's another one of those games that I learned to respect later.
It was just one of those games that was always at the pizza parlor or something. You always had the in the 80s, like early 90s, you always found Pole Position, you always found Centipede or Galaga, those types. And then it always was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then it turned into that Simpsons game, which was basically the same game just with the Simpsons, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to work at a convenience store when I was in high school, and there was an arcade, and every year they would change it up, and so and we had the special little thing that I could play for free. So it was
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So here's a question. I was asked this the other day, and I gave all kinds of answers, and none of them seemed to be right. Out of all the games, there's a game this guy's looking for. It was a fighting game. There was like 6 characters, and a female said, "I never give up," in a squeaky voice when they would fight. And he's been looking for this game, and I thought, I suggested Shaq Fu and a couple of the other ones because it was an 8-bit game. It was like for Sega, I think, or
Virtua Fighter?
I don't think so. That wasn't for Sega.
Virtua
That was for
Fighter.
Sega 32X. I think
This is
was the
before my
Virtua Fighter.
time. I can't help with this one.
Yeah, I couldn't help either. I tried.
Digging through Google, Google did not know the answer.
Maybe I was
Google
digging in
doesn't
the
know the
wrong.
answer. There is no answer.
Eternal
Wrong place.
Champions. See, Virtua Fighter was on Sega.
Oh, here we go. Eve Online is my
See,
favorite.
that's a
space
game that was ahead of its time. I remember someone talking to me. I never actually got into it, but a friend of mine's dad was obsessed with this game. And this was back like, I don't know, 16 years ago. He was saying to me about this big game. There's an economy in it. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like you can buy stuff, you can trade, you can spend absolute hours, days, even months on EVE Online. And even still now, people still play this game. And it's such a huge game.
Yeah, well, it's literally like an actual world where the people control it or change it or whatever.
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah,
World of
that's-
Warcraft?
That's awesome.
No, that was EVE
Eve.
Online.
Yeah.
Do a whole show about World of Warcraft.
Oh, you could. World of
People's
Warcraft,
lives.
all of us has taken a huge chunk of our time.
See, I was more of a StarCraft man. That was my game.
StarCraft.
StarCraft was my
StarCraft
game.
was fantastic, but did you ever play the original Warcraft? Did that get it started for you, or did you just jump
Never
into
played that one.
StarCraft?
So like
No,
Warcraft
with
3
Believe
for
it
me.
or not, I StarCraft, then I went to Warcraft.
Because the
So
original Warcraft was just humans versus orcs.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I played.
Right.
I played
And-
both
and-
of those. They're all 3.
Right.
One of the-
Yes.
Yeah, I never played
And
that.
so that was fantastic. And then they came out with StarCraft. You got the Protoss and the Zerg, and then
Mhm.
then you start to see all these different strategies, right? Like people would just do Zerg rushing the bases because they'd make all the little Zerglings and then just send them down and try to find you. And if you hadn't built up defense in time, you were toast. StarCraft was
Yeah.
such a great game.
Yeah,
You got
man.
me thinking of some RTS games now. Now here's one for you:
Okay.
Commander and Conquer: Red Alert 2.
Oh, yeah,
Your
come
Revenge.
on, man.
Yeah.
Yes, with the expansions.
Oh,
Yes,
that
baby.
was absolutely awesome. Me and my mates were literally back in college. This is where we'll do LAN parties. So college, big fat CTR monitors,
Wow.
literally burning through the electric bill at 16 of us around this one table.
Wow.
That's
Literally playing this game.
fantastic.
I got a story there. My friends, right? I love him, but I hate him. I don't see them now. Unfortunately, we've all kind of gone our separate ways.
Yeah.
But we were playing Yuri's Revenge, and we're all playing together on this little local LAN party, and we're all saying, like, okay, we're going to give it 1 hour where we do nothing. We don't attack each other. We build up our bases. We build up our armies. The biggest army. And we'll meet in the center, and then we'll go nuts it. So I'm sitting there building. I'm one of those. I don't know how you want to word this, but like I'll literally just throw as many men as possible. Don't forget how many casualties. Just keep pumping more men at it, and then eventually we'll win. So I made us hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of just the weak cheapest infantry soldiers. Got friends making Armageddon tanks and all sorts of stuff and all sorts of weird things going on. Once we said 3, 2, 1, let's go. All of a sudden, I heard, I can't remember the name of it, I might get it wrong, but every time someone from another base built a super weapon, it would announce it in the game. Like, I think super weapon. All I heard was super weapon build, super weapon build. They spoke to each other quietly behind my back saying, we ain't going to build it. We're just going to build super weapons. And then once it started, 3, 2, 1, let's go. I literally had about 16 nuclear missiles land on my base. It didn't even happen. My PC blue screened because it couldn't take it. It was just so much going on.
Too many sprites.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. No, but bear in mind, this was a 4-day. This was a 7-day LAN party, and I was up for 5 days straight. I haven't slept.
Wow.
So at this point, I got my keyboard. I got back in the day. I had a proper stress problem. I got the keyboard, threw it across the room. PS2 socket popped out, went flying, smashed against the wall.
The keys.
Screw you guys! I'm going to bed, and I slept for 12 hours.
My god.
That's probably why I've been not friends anymore.
Did y'all ever heard the show? I know I missed this show, man. It needs to come back. Game Pro TV. I don't know if y'all know about.
Well, I used to get Game Pro magazine, and I had a friend that worked at the Game Pro office.
Game Pro TV.
When they first announced the Nintendo 64 coming, I know that's your favorite of Ryzek. You said Nintendo. They talked about 64, Resident Evil. That's how I learned about Resident Evil. I used to give it 5 stars out of 5. Game Pro TV, man. I used to enjoy that show. You never knew State Report. You never know about that show, or Jeff?
I never heard that one.
No.
Yeah, we had Leo Laporte.
That was a good one, man.
Yeah, Leo Laporte, when he was in Canada, he did a couple of tech shows and a couple of gaming shows before he moved back to the States and became, huge.
No, they back over here, I think in California, they had a show called High Score where they had 2 contestants who would have the highest score on an arcade. You would play the arcades and you would get the high score and stuff. And these freaking kids would end up with a damn arcade machine,
Hey, speaking of high score, did you see that the show on Netflix?
Brilliant,
the series
brilliant.
on Netflix?
5 times. I watched it 5 times.
Yeah. It's the first couple episodes. It can be kind of slow, but then it all that stuff that you watch in the first couple of episodes really helps out the end line, right? And just the fact that these guys, it was such a small group, and then they were taking those video games, the guys that were up at what is the MIT, and they were taking the video games and they were putting those cards in them, and they were making them harder so that people couldn't win. You just keep pumping quarters and making all that money.
Speaking of that, you just reminded me of something. I just watched something the other day. Now, I always thought that the arcade screwed you, okay? But I didn't think it was like on the conspiratorial level that the computer itself is designed to cheat you at some point. But it is. It's like those, you go to the carnivals and they have the 3 bottles that are glued together, it's kind of like that. Like Mortal Kombat will let you get to 4 or 5 in the arcade, and then it will cheat you. To take
the
your
game
money.
that did that to me was Cruising USA World.
Oh, I remember that.
Cruising USA.
Cruising.
It didn't matter how many dollars I spent playing that damn game. I could not get past halfway across the country.
Cruising.
I'll tell you something crazy.
Remember that.
Me being 48, when I still see a hang-on motorcycle, I run and I hop on it. My wife
without the bars. Yep, I know what you're talking about. That was a slick looking bike, Ray.
So I know.
I like that you said it's the motorcycle when really it's the horse that sits out there and you just get on it like this. That's more your speed.
I know you was hyped as hell when Cruising came out to the Nintendo 64, right?
Oh, absolutely. And then they came out with a couple different variations. There was like a prehistoric one where there were like dinosaurs that came out.
Right.
Cruising USA was fantastic, though.
I think a very, very I think an awesome system that had an awesome remake. Probably my favorite was GameCube, and it was Resident Evil remake. I thought that was fire.
That right there, that was my favorite right there. Oh man, I use that a lot in my views. Some of the musics,
Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube.
GameCube was a great little system, man.
I had it on
I hate scary movies. I hate scary games. I will not I will not play them.
Same. Can't do him.
Well, I'm completely with Ryzak when it comes to the Nintendo 64. I think that was the system that I was the most blown away with, I think, when it first came out. I even got that little expansion thing to put in it for like Rogue Squadron to get a little like couple extra 200 megabit.
Did you have the little the vibrating thing that would click into the back of the Rumble Pack?
The Rumble Pack. Yep. But Mario 64 actually surprised the shit out of me and showed me what gaming could be in the future. And it's only gotten better.
The Star Fox.
That was like a very basic version of open world, would you say? Like, because you're moving around, doing your own thing. Yeah.
That's when the 3D gaming really started to take its turn.
Yeah.
We can sit here and talk a lot about PlayStation too. I mean, when the PlayStation became very mainstream, you started to get a lot of the anime type games and this and that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the
Ooh, that was a good one.
Oh, there you go, Eternal Darkness.
That was a real good one.
Oh, Eternal Darkness, man.
We can't.
Oh my God,
Mr. Urban World says F-Zero.
That's a classic.
That
yes, sir.
Hey, that's a classic right there. That
F-Zero.
Eternal Darkness is the real deal.
Love F-Zero. Wait a minute, but which one though? The very first one?
Yeah, they have
the original.
Yeah, that's a classic.
StarCraft was great.
My favorite, one of my favorites right there.
Yeah.
How many of you guys put hours and hours into Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
love.
Yep. Punch-Out was good. If I had one series that I've probably put more time into than anything, it would have to be Mario Kart. Mario Kart, any of the Mario Karts, even the one on GameCube gets a lot of hate, but it was that Double Dash one where you had somebody riding on the back and you could switch people.
That was pretty slick.
A lot of hearts.
I'm gonna throw you guys a curveball, but this was one of my favorite classic NES games, and that was RC Pro-Am.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah,
man. You had the rockets, the slippery oil spills. I mean, you could upgrade your car, drift, and hit the turns.
Yep.
I think it was Super Nintendo. Do you remember the Micro Machines game?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, were you those little cars?
Yep. The little car. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Now, here's a great one. This is a great shout out. And I've loved this series, man. And here's one of the sad things, I'm going to miss Nintendo. I'm going to miss Mario. I'm going to miss Zelda. And I'm going to miss Star Fox because I refused to buy a Switch.
Star Fox.
Oh, that was GoldenEye. Where's Star Fox?
I was going to say, that you just put up on the screen, I feel like all of Vet's games he got out of like a cereal box. He's talking about like the Noid game, the Spot game.
Vet pulling out just some weird, some weird stuff, but they were video games, folks. They need to make an F-Zero for the Switch. I totally agree.
Yeah.
What was the shooter game for the 3DO that you had, William?
Dude, I have no idea. I had a couple Need for Speed games for 3DO.
It was
Need for Speed.
Hold on. Oh, it's coming to me. It made me sick. It made me sick.
See, I disagree with that, Rob. The original Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was the best, man. The Super, I don't know about the Super Nintendo one.
It was all right.
I wasn't very good at
Double Dribble.
Oh yeah, Double Dribble.
Dribble.
Ray brought up Tecmo Bowl earlier, man, and I use the Raiders all the time.
You pulling it off the shelf? There you go. Oh man, there's so many regular Nintendo games. A lot of them people probably haven't heard of. There was Hal's Hole-in-One Golf. Do you remember Adventures of Lolo?
Oh my God! Yeah. Thank you, Isaac. Oh,
Adventures of Lolo. I should have answered that.
Oh my
the first question. That's probably the one I should have answered because I had no idea what to do in the beginning of that game.
Yeah, the Adventures of I know I have a whole bunch of obscure Nintendo games that I really really like.
Bubble
like,
Bobble.
Yeah, Bubble Bobble. That's kind of mainstream though, but
Yeah.
like Fester's Quest. Fester's
Okay.
Quest.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of so good ones here.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden was another one.
Ninja Gaiden was fantastic.
That was hard.
Oh, someone just done a shout about RoboCop.
I didn't like
Oh,
the Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. The
Yeah.
newer one.
Oh yeah, RoboCop versus
Well, just mentioned that.
Terminator versus RoboCop. I had that one.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Terminator game at the arcade
Mad Dog.
with
Yeah.
the mounted gun that you just have to shoot?
Oh yeah.
Hey, hey.
With that red button on the
choose-
side?
I just want to say, Choose Gaming answered Rob Gauthier's question. It's Mad Dog McKee or McCree.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
was a quick
Yes.
draw game.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
That's
Man.
what it was.
Kevin has the 3DO. which-
Yeah. Now, Kevin, if you can remember this game, it was not Need for Speed, but it was a race car game that had FMV elements of people doing like interviews before and after the race, and you could use weapons on your cars. It was not Need for Speed. If you can remember that game, I'd like to look it up. I had so
Twisted
much
Metal?
fun. No, it wasn't Twisted Metal. I had
What
so
was
much
the-
Oh,
fun.
that's the game.
There was another game like that for PS2
So
called
much
Cell
memories.
Damage. It
That
was like
wasn't
all
Carmageddon.
cartoons.
Was that Carmageddon? Was it Carmageddon?
Carmageddon. Maybe it
Carmageddon.
was. Maybe it was.
So much memories, man. Wow.
Yeah, I'll have to
So
look it
many,
up,
so
man.
many.
But what was interesting is me and my buddy would play it, and then like
Times 2600.
after the match, we wouldn't listen to the FMV. We'd turn and talk to each other like we were wrestlers or doing a promo or something. It was really fun, man. My parents thought we were absolutely batshit crazy, but we had a lot of fun.
Did you ever play the
Yeah,
WrestleMania
really.
game?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you
Come on,
Royal
man.
Rumble?
Come on, man.
Royal Rumble was my favorite.
I used to like wrestling back in the 80s.
Back with Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah.
I think
It's all about the
when-
Ultimate Warrior, baby.
we've talked about this. 1 week, we're just going to do all sport games. We're just going to have an entire discussion on sports games.
I got
Yeah, I mean, everybody
Royal
has
Rumble.
something to complain about when it comes to Madden.
yeah. Yeah, I
I got
agree.
nothing to complain about. That's a great game, except for when Jeff plays it.
That's when it
Well,
turns
every
bad.
Friday.
You guys can't forget about my boy Joe Montana, on the Sega Talk. He was the first speaking like to hear
True.
voices.
We're trying
Like
to forget
voices.
about him.
Voices, guys. First, Montana speaking football.
No, we're trying to forget about him.
And
Whatever.
Ah. Hey, Vet, you'll have to type in how you like the game, man. Because I thought it was actually pretty cool. Once you got into it and started like getting different weapons and stuff.
Celebrity
What was,
deathmatch.
What was the one system that you never had that you wish you did?
Ooh, that is a great question. I've had a lot.
Yeah.
I've never owned a ColecoVision. Man, I really haven't. I've owned a lot of them. I mean, I've owned a 3DO. Most people don't even know what a 3DO is.
Yeah.
Panasonic 3DO or something like that.
Yep, Panasonic.
Well, there
3DO.
was actually
Yeah, I ain't
a
never-
lot of other
Yeah, I remember
companies that did the 3DO.
Bring back memories. Bringing back
Yeah.
my memories. Yeah.
You know, you know what? I'm gonna steal Mr. Urban Worlds and I'm gonna pop it up. Neo Geo CD. I never had the Neo Geo.
Expensive. Even the cartridges were
The
expensive.
SNK.
Yeah.
That never came to Canada. I heard about it, but I don't think it ever made it to Canada.
I had it in my hand, and when she told me the price, I dropped it down. Put it down. I was like, one day.
Oh, that's
It was
funny.
crazy. Neo
Yeah.
Geo was
Yes!
it was like a fad, right?
Thank you,
Crash
Kevin.
and burn. Thank
Yes.
you, Kevin.
There you
Yep. Crash and burn. Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the game my buddy and I would play, and then we just turn to each other and start talking smack. It was incredible. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
What was your? Let me ask you this, guys. What was your favorite game publisher? Like back in the day, I was a huge fan of Konami games.
I was just about to say Konami.
I mean, come on, Contra, Double Dribble.
Absolutely.
There was a game called Bayou Billy.
Yes, and it had the gun too. You had levels that used the gun, and you had man, that was a fantastic. Well, it made me
My
mad when I was a
favorite
kid. But,
publisher. There's so many great ones, man. Dang. I
Yeah,
can't-
there's loads of good ones out there.
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna
It's
go.
tough.
Konami gave me my Metal Gear games. They did.
I'm gonna go a little crazy, but I'm gonna say JLM.
Whoa.
Some of those games
Really?
are fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I remember them, Jim. Yeah, I remember them.
Wow. Wow.
With the little the rainbow purple.
Yeah,
I remember them.
The video or the video game nerd hates them people.
Thank you, Mr. Urban World. Guys, cannot
Ooh.
forget
Good shout for
LucasArts,
LucasArts.
that's
Yeah,
when they
did
LucasArts.
Star Wars, and the
Star
Empire
Wars.
Strikes Back.
Jedi's
you
Academy 2 on
The
PC.
scrolling. Oh my god.
LucasArts. Yeah, LucasArts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LucasArts was the man. Even if they weren't doing Star Wars content, you had Full Throttle. The Monkey Island games came from them.
The Monkey Island. Yeah.
Just fantastic stuff, man. They really did a lot of great work. And then Ray, he was close to them when they started firing people.
Yes, I had some friends that got booted from LucasArts.
I'm gonna say they were to me. These developers very underrated. I would go like Acclaim. They were pretty good too. They had some great games too.
Oh yeah,
they were
the
underrated.
only time the one publisher I called to complain because they came out with Wrestling Superstars, and that you want to talk about a buggy game.
They were underrated.
I was hurt because I always wanted a wrestling game with all the legends. And this game was so bad. But then they came out with a couple of games called Legends of Wrestling.
Yeah.
And then they did another one. But yeah, Acclaims.
Mine's not so much about the company, but the people behind the game. So Call of Duty 4 was the first Modern Warfare, and it was put out by Infinity Ward. And then when they did Modern Warfare 2, those guys got kicked out of Infinity Ward, went and made Respawn and made Titanfall. Call of Duty 4 and Titanfall are two of the smoothest shooter games I've ever played in my life.
It's good. Yeah.
I have a Titanfall poster over here that my wife for the past years been asking me to take down, and it's long. You know, you got the one team and then you got the other team on the other side, and I will not take it down.
Okay.
And I don't know why it didn't get any more popular than it has. I mean, it's a fantastic game.
Dude, the things that used to shoot down.
Yes.
And I would just wait for it. I'd say, "Oh, here we go! I'm about to kick your ass." And I just hop in my tech.
There's a PS3 game. I don't know if you guys have ever played it. This is the first item I ever bought and then sold on eBay successfully. The controller was like this damn big, man. It was for a tank or a mech game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
about.
So
much memory.
PlayStation 2 was the last PlayStation for me. So you go 3 and 4, and I can't have the conversation with you. I went the Xbox route.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I went with the fat PS3. Steel Battalion is the name of that game.
And it came with the giant control thing.
A giant. Here, I'm gonna share my screen just for a second so you can see what this controller looks like, and it's still expensive. Pow! Look at this.
Damn.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Look at that controller.
Yeah. Yep.
You literally had to hit
Flight Simulator with that thing.
Every single button and every single foot pedal did something. One of them would do your chaff to where you shoot something out of the back of your ship. This was incredible. It was like a $300 game.
Good price of it.
Yeah, that's just the controller.
That's untested, sold for parts only. That's not even it.
Yeah. No,
That's
I got
crazy.
something. When the very first time,
That's crazy.
the very first time I saw this, I could not stop laughing.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I said,
Original
what the
Xbox.
hell? What the hell
Big
is
thing.
this? And it was big, and it came with a big old brick, and I laughed my ass off. I said, dude, there is no way this thing is going to make it big, man. I'm telling you, Sega and Nintendo is going to destroy this machine. This machine is a joke.
Yeah.
You know? And then my friend told me I got this game called Morrowind.
Ooh.
And I saw it, and I got this thing like the next day.
Okay.
Wow.
One
I was waiting for
question.
you to say Halo.
When you were wandering around
At Halo
Morrowind,
nights.
did you find the levitating pants? Literally in the game as you're walking, a guy will just fall out of the sky and hit the ground, and you're like, "What the hell just happened?" You walk over, and he's got pants of levitation. They failed apparently.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Morrowind was fantastic. I remember cheating that game a little bit. I made it into the room with Vivek, and Vivek is like a living god.
Wow.
And I made it into his chamber, and I used the pants of levitation to float up to the chandelier, and I shot arrows down till I killed him.
Oh my god,
I
I got
cheated.
consoles falling down over here. Oh
I
my
see
goodness.
Jeff just thinking about all the memories. I see Jeff thinking about all the memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many great
Here
memories.
you go, guys. Think of that one.
This
Morrow
comment
games.
does not surprise me at all.
Oh,
I feel
that's
like
the Elder Scrolls. Oh, that's
But
what that
just
was.
so you know, this one, guys, this is German.
it's a German copy.
Yeah.
What is that, an unsealed version or something you got there, or you just speak German?
No, I saw it in the store and I saw that it was Germany, and I got to get it. I just got it just to add to my collection.
And your
I'm
mother
Nice.
knows in the
freaking
building.
Morrowind. Going into
Yeah.
the first town that you get into in the game. I went into the very first house and I killed the person that owned it because I wanted this to be my house, and I screwed up the whole game. I had to restart it.
That's crazy, man. That's
You
crazy.
screwed up
This
the
is
whole
before,
quest line?
Oblivion.
Screwed up the whole game.
Oh yeah.
Dude, what was
Yeah,
it?
matter of fact, when you kill Vivek, it says that now you're going to live in a dead world. Like you,
Yeah.
it warns
like
you.
that.
There's
I like
nothing you're
that.
going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than putting hours into a game and then doing one thing that can screw it all up for you.
Right.
All of the Elder Scrolls games. So RPGs are my favorite genre. I was going to ask you guys what your favorite genres are, but RPGs are just.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I've never been a real big
6
book
hours.
reader, but RPGs you get to play out the story as well as read it. So for me, they're just great.
Yeah, I
Survival
can
horror.
so easily get lost into to RPG games. Like I said, my biggest thing for me, the one that shaped it for me, as we said earlier, Final Fantasy VII. I played that so many times, and I think that kind of style of gaming, especially with the, it's not just the gameplay, but it's the characters, and
Yes.
those characters are not just people in the game, but they have a story themselves, and you get to know each little character. And again, you got the quality of the game, the graphics go right over your head because you're in the story. That
Yep.
I know I'm fast forwarding to the future now, but this is the biggest thing for Cyberpunk, why it sold for me, because I was in Night City, I knew the people, and I loved the story. And that's the biggest thing for me for games, because my imagination will take me the rest of the way.
Hey,
And
Red
I'm
Dead is that way
in
too.
it. That's it for me. And then you got the bonuses of like leveling up and doing stuff like that.
This is gonna kill me, but I love RPGs. But come on, man, my first love is the first person shooters. 007, man, Golden Eye, just
Yeah.
Well,
first
what
person
about-
shooters, man.
What about RPGs and side scrolling together? ActRaiser 1 and 2 were some of my favorite games, man. I don't know if you ever played those. You're basically a god, and you control you. It's almost like a sim world kind of. You build a civilization up, and you're their god. They offer you like stuff, and then you can create an earthquake that kills everybody.
That reminds me of Black and White on the PlayStation. Oh, sorry, on the PC. Black and White.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but ActRaiser, it's actually a really cool game. Very, very, very cool. Hey, Jeff, we're almost at an hour and 40 minutes, sir. Would you like to do the retro this week in retro?
Sure, we'd love to.
All right, let me bring it up here.
So something I've been tweeting out for a while, and we decided to add it into the show, is This Week in Retro. Now, I know we do the show every 2 weeks, so I'm just kind of been looking at the upcoming week. I probably should look at the next couple of weeks to see what's sort of available. But these are some of the games, and of course, we all know what Tuesday is, so I had to put in something for Tuesday. And different anniversary, and these are games. Sometimes there are other events. Maybe the console was launched or
That's
something
pretty cool.
else. And then if you scroll down, I posted a few more. Lots of stuff happens in May. Lots of stuff happens, and of course,
Ooh.
somebody had mentioned one of the games. It was 18 years old, and I was thinking, oh, maybe that doesn't make the cut. It doesn't make my cut as retro. But you can see there's lots of this week. These are some of the games that were first coming out on different consoles.
Yeah.
I try to stick to North America. No offense, Blake, because
So-
a lot of games come out in Japan first, and
Yeah.
then they come out in the UK, and then
Yeah.
they come out in Canada later, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that you see, and it's like, oh, that came out in Japan, but then it comes
Yeah.
out in. I even tweeted something out. I think it was Legend of Zelda. And they're like, oh, that's not the date. Well, no, that was the date it came out in North America is the one I posted.
Yeah.
When it was originally came out in Japan, sure, you could argue that's when it came out. But I tend to stick to North America, the North American releases on some of these.
And then some of
That's
them
cool.
also debuted on different machines and came back later on something else.
True. Yes.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Wolfenstein. I know I tweeted about that a little while ago because it's available, on some modern consoles. But I remember playing that on my Windows machine, the original Wolfenstein way back on one of my old PCs.
Man,
Was that
NBA
like the,
Street.
Doom style, the Doom 1 style kind of graphics? Is that?
Yes, yes, it was.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the standouts for me would be the NBA Street because I don't like the NBA games, but when it was the Street, I really liked that one. I don't know why.
NBA Jam.
Well,
Yeah, no, well, NBA Jam, yeah, the original.
He's on fire.
NBA. Oh, forget it.
But
Hey,
the-
Jeff, you said Wolfenstein. Did you ever play Quake?
Of course.
Come on,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course, of course.
Texan,
Who
Quake.
did Quake?
We had a
who-
computer science teacher at our high school, and he had like 18
Quake.
machines.
Oh
hooked
my
up, and
god.
we used to have
Quake.
massive
Well, that's-
Quake battles after school.
That's what I was wondering. Blake
Unreal tournament, y'all.
was mentioning LAN parties. Well,
Yeah.
Quake was like built for LAN parties, man. You could have as many
Yeah.
PCs as you could fit in a room. They were a lot larger.
Yeah, we used to do that in our QNX lab, which was the an offshooting of Linux, and we would do those sort of things. Yep.
Wasn't it Doom or Quake, one of the ones that are the very first games to start to become online? Again, this is a grey area for me, but I think I remember hearing something about Doom being the first game to be online.
Hey, Doom. Hey, everybody don't talk about it, but there was a lot of Doom parties. A lot of guys used to play Doom. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
but
I heard you have Doom parties with Anthony's mom.
There it is.
Oh,
There it is.
You couldn't go this whole show without one.
My
Come on.
uncle
See
had a game
Anthony
on a
jumping in
floppy
the chat
disk
from
called
time to time, and I was
Discord.
waiting for some kind of
Yeah.
interaction there.
Yeah, that must have been DOS.
He said
Scroll
something about
down.
being an ordained
Scroll
minister
down,
and running a
scroll
wedding
down,
or
William.
something.
What are the other ones I posted today?
Oh, okay.
I posted
Well,
that yesterday, and then I replied and I posted a few more.
yeah, the
Iron
shout
Man
outs.
was on there.
Yeah, the shout outs were NBA Street, various forms. Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, which I thought sucked. It was a very bad fighting game, in my opinion.
Yeah, but we all love Bruce Lee, so I had to put that in there. It's like,
Yeah, well, Bruce Lee is awesome. I would definitely.
Boy, let me tell you, 94, 93, 94, man. Wow.
So part of that show that's on Netflix, did you pay attention to that guy that I think he was the first African American that worked on the
Yeah.
game or something
And
because
never
they
got
didn't
no
have
respect.
they didn't
Oh,
have
wow.
colored characters in the game.
Yeah.
All the characters were just all the players were one color.
That was on the Netflix show. I was watching about
Yeah.
that. There's a big issue. It's all just white people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sierra
Yeah.
said something in the chat too. You want to talk about what retro is? She just dropped floppy disk.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Sim
What I was
City.
saying that had to have been Sim City DOS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, went to the 3.5.
Respect the floppies, y'all. Respect the floppies.
you betcha. You
Yeah.
betcha.
NBA Jam
Yeah.
was too.
And that would be what? Oregon Trail, Snake, stuff like that. How many of y'all got dysentery on Oregon's Trail? I got the poops and it killed me.
Oh wow.
Now I used to play a lot of Zork. I used to do a lot of Zork. Oh my god, what am I having? I remember when I like.
Oh, is that another like DOS-based kind of game?
Disney Mickey Mouse
Oh.
space game.
Yeah, what was that called? I know what you're talking about. Damn, I can't remember what the name of that
Sort
was.
one
So
or
much
something.
memories.
Oh,
Anthology.
But it was
Mania.
a couple of those games. They would throw multiple games onto one cartridge.
Yeah.
Do you remember getting the magazines, by the way? Like, I'm fast forward back to PlayStation 1 days. You get those magazines and you get the little demo discs. I remember getting a demo disc where I think it was Ridge Racer for PlayStation 1. And it's a time. So you can only play up to a certain time limit. So I think it's after 30 minutes or something. Thanks, City. And we would try and go through as much of the game as possible. I'm surprised they fit so much in the disc. I didn't know how it
That's
worked.
crazy.
We would
my first
literally just go
PlayStation game,
through
Ridge
it.
Racer.
Was it?
Alex,
Legends and let's get it on.
Alex, is that Zool game on the Commodore? Is that a pen and paper like RPG or something like that? I think I remember that game, man.
There were lots of games where you had to have a pen and paper, and you had to kind of keep track of where you are on those text-based games and stuff back in the day.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You get
Yeah,
confused. You go through 2 doors and you don't know where you're at anymore.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Oh, here we go.
I want to go north.
Mickey's Space Adventure. That's what it was called.
Okay.
Make you Space Adventure. Okay.
Now, the very first game, I'm going to ask you guys this question real quick. We'll go all the way around before we take off here and finish for the day. But what was your very first game you came in contact with? Doesn't matter what age, but the very first game you came in contact with, and what did you think of it? Take it away, Chariot.
The first game of all. The first game that
You ever touched, played? Yep.
I think it was Super Mario Brothers in Super Mario Brothers in that other game that goes with Super Mario Brothers.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah, those games. Those are the very first games I touched and came in contact with.
Awesome.
I was fascinated with it. I was actually fascinated.
What about you, right? What about you, Zach?
Very first game I ever played was Zaxxon on the ColecoVision.
Zaxxon?
Zaxxon.
Man, it's gonna age my ass, but I gotta go there.
We know you're old.
Pong. The teacher had Pong in the back of the classroom, so the good kids who finished their work. Oh shit!
avalanche of old games are coming down.
The good kids that we got to play Pong. So Pong was the first.
Not having an earthquake or anything, are you out there?
Oh my goodness!
You were telling us last night you wanted to get to the other side of the bridge.
Down
So.
on him.
Yeah, you don't want. Yeah.
Shut up,
How about-
Razak?
How about you, Blake?
Well, the moment you said that, I've got the flashback there and then as if it was yesterday. Like, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old, and my sister, I could hear some weird kind of noises, like some really old style sounds coming from a room. So as a young kid, you go busting through the door to try and figure out what's going on. She was playing the Nintendo Game Boy and playing was it Frankenstein? Yeah, that
Mary Shelley's?
I can't remember. You're Frankenstein. You're a monster going around. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, well, they have a game called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein based on the movie, and like literally, if you don't know how to play it, you take 3 steps and die, like over and over and over again.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, I remember my sister playing it, and she was saying it was hers, but it was actually my present for my birthday. But she got it out and opened it and started playing it, and I was like, "What's that? What's this?" Oh, this is mine. Go away, you loser, kind of thing. But I never forget picking up that Nintendo Game Boy. That adds some weight to it, you know. I love the idea of cartridge, and I literally the music, everything. I got lost in it. I loved it. That was first time I ever touched a game.
All that plastic for a 2-inch screen.
Mr. Urban World earlier commented that he never had a Virtual Boy. His parents wouldn't buy him one, and that's probably good because your eyes would be all messed up.
Burnt out, man.
Okay, Jeff, you're up, sir.
I had a private chat going one day with Anthony. We were talking about something and and I don't know the game, but my oldest brother is 13 years older than me. And when he was in high school, he used to go down to the local university and do stuff on the punch cards and do a bunch of work. And he used to have to babysit me, so he would take him with me. So we would take the bus down, and he would set me up on the old VAX mainframe. And there was a game that I would play on there, and it was a little text-based thing. You had to move a little guy around. No idea what it was called. We talked about it actually. I just want to say, Zach's mainframe sounds extremely awesome.
I was just about to say, as soon as you said mainframe,
I know it's serious. I know it's not.
V with a V, VAX, VAX, the old VAX mainframe. And I ended up using one when I was in college. Yeah, and so that was one of the first games I played. And then we got an old Trash 80. We had the the Timex Sinclair 1000. We had obviously the PET, the VIC-20, the Commodore. The Zymers has kicked in, and I just don't remember that far back.
It was not my first console, okay? But the very, very, I'm gonna share my darn screen again real quick. The very, very first game that I ever played was this game right here. It was called Illusion.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh yeah.
Not that game.
Oh wow.
It was called Illusions for ColecoVision, and it was kind of complicated. I didn't even know what I was doing, but you have all these blobs on the screen, and you're supposed to get them to. You go next to one, and then you become the same blob. You have to get all of them in the same thing, and then do something. I could never figure it out, but let me show you a screenshot. Here
Sounds
is
as
the
bad as that ET game.
Here's the actual screenshot of the game.
Well, that messes with my head.
You had these little blobs, and you had to.
I'm not
dance them.
trying to be funny, but that don't look like a blob to me. But I'm just.
It does look like a mushroom helmet, kind of.
Kind of reminds me of Hubert.
Let's do that.
It reminds me a lot of Q*bert. I used
Yes.
to love Q*bert in the arcade.
Q*bert.
Yeah, it does remind you of that just a little bit. But yeah, so you're supposed to get these little blobs to go into each other and
That look
become the same thing, and then do something. But
You're just giving Ray so much
We've
material.
lost Ray
here.
now. He's gone.
but so
That
but that wasn't my first console. My first console only lasted about 18 hours. My parents was with my brother, and they brought home a Atari 7800 or 26. Anyway, it was the Atari, and I got to play Pitfall 3 times, and then it was bedtime. My brother and my cousin stayed up all night playing it on big, thick shag carpet. By the next morning, it either had been statically discharged,
Shorted. Yeah, they shorted.
or a solder went bad on the
Yeah.
board because it got so warm.
Wow.
One of the two. So
Boy,
I didn't get
I'm
the.
mad.
We had 18 hours, man. 18 hours. Played it 3 times. I woke up in the morning. All right, boys, it's time for Pitfall. No, it's not.
Man.
That
I'd be
sucks.
crying, dude. I'd be crying.
Well, I was like, what did you do? It's like, nothing. Yeah, right. I got my eyes on you.
So let me ask you guys one last question here. What is one game that you enjoyed a lot? Whether it be in your childhood or just in the past, that you would like to see remade today?
Ooh.
Oh my god, I can tell you right away.
Go for it.
Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness. Eternal Darkness.
Man,
Gotta see
that's
for
a
me.
It's a tough one because there's a lot of games I love that they have already made remakes for. Like I was going to say,
Correct.
Final Fantasy VII
Right.
remake.
Yep.
I got
And
one.
and we all know that a lot like movie sequels, things aren't usually good the second time around. It's hard to
Yeah.
replicate that
Yeah.
magic, right? But
Maybe-
all right. So,
Go ahead,
Ryzak, answer your own question.
Yep.
Then we'll go to Ray.
there was a game on the Dreamcast called Shenmue.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And,
Oh,
and when
wait,
you
they
guys were
just-
all playing this new Judgment game, it reminded me a lot of it.
Yeah. They
I
actually
beat Shenmue. I have Shenmue.
they actually just finished Shenmue. Shenmue
Yep.
3.
And it was great because it was the first game I remember where like time
Love
of
that
the
one.
day like interacted in the game, right? So like it got dark and it rained and there were things that happened in the environment. So
I loved that game, but during a portion of it, I was like, "What? I'm punching a time clock and I got to move boxes. What am I doing here? Come on, I want to do kung fu." Like,
Good game.
Yeah.
awesome game though. Awesome game.
Dreamcast underrated, man. Dreamcast, man.
All right.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
It was-
Fire
it was
underrated.
system.
It was actually the first RPG that I played on the NES, and it was called Vanax Do.
Oh,
Vanax with a B.
Vanax Do. You can pull up. It was
Xanadu. I know it's
Xanadu.
spelled weird.
Oh,
was
yeah.
it Xanadu? It was start. No,
It's something like that.
starts with an F. It's actually
Faxanadu.
Yeah. Yes, that's it.
Faxanadu.
That's a game that I just like as young in my imagination and fantasy and everything. I actually played that game to the very end. I would love to see a remake of that with some characters. I know this is a retro chat, but I won't mention the retro HBO shows I saw late nights.
Anything
you
with
were-
Stan and
you-
Tweed, baby.
You were watching Skinamax. You know it. All right,
I
Blake,
was
go ahead.
too, man.
Oh, do you know what? I don't think I can have an answer because most of the games that I've loved, they've either made a remake or they've done sequels for it. I want to say, like for the Nintendo, I want N64. Sorry, I want to say
Yeah.
GoldenEye, but
Oh,
if
that
it
one
came
too,
out
Dragon
now,
Ball.
if it came out now,
Yeah.
I
It
don't
would be
think
the
it would
same.
do justice in wouldn't it be with the amount of saturation we've got with FPS games. I don't think it would do any justice. It would just get lost in the abyss. And
Yeah.
and then what would happen is we would compare it to your modern day Call of Duty with the amount of details and things that are going on in the game. Whereas when you think back, GoldenEye, it was FPS games in its simplest form. Like I know you had landmines and stuff, but there was no extra features. There was no achievements. There was no what is the thing you have on Call of Duty? You have a
Like the
prestige.
battle pass.
Yeah, battle passes and stuff like that. Like all these layers. It just, unfortunately, it would do terrible in this time. Unfortunately.
Well, there was Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
That's
And then they
another
did a
one. I was going to mention
remake.
it.
And then
Very
they did
close
a
to
remake,
GoldenEye.
and then they did a remake of the Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark. Yes.
One of my favorite games. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
That's a really good
on
title.
Xbox, yeah.
I use some of their music. Some of my
Perfect
music.
Dark Zero is the one I played.
Yes.
Yeah. That was good.
So what about you, Jeff? Oh, and he's got it in his hand.
Oh, Duke.
I played this on my Friday
did.
retro stream a couple of weeks ago.
Hail
If
to
they
the
would
king,
if they would
baby.
come out with a new Duke Nukem, I know it fails in comparison to what's out available now.
True.
But yeah,
Do you know what? I've got a little story with Duke Nukem. I borrowed that of a friend of mine, and my mum heard about it, but she did not bring that in my house. And
She didn't walk into the strip club, did she?
No.
Okay.
Well, but all she heard was I was playing the game downstairs. She let me play the odd little shooting games, and I had to try and get the volume of the TV just right, depending on where she was in the house, because the volume for my TV, if it was between volume 1 and volume 2, such a vast difference. If I go to volume 1, it's volume 1 and volume 2 are fairly similar. So when I bring it down, it just didn't get to the right level. And if I go any lower, it goes 0 and you can't hear anything. So I got it on volume 1, and she walks into the room. Just there, you hear, "Suck on my boomstick." And my mum's like, "What are you playing?"
You playing those HBO late nights.
Yeah,
Well-
some of the stuff he says when I played it on stream, it was awesome. I'm like, I missed Duke Nukem.
Oh, it's funny. Such a funny game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, William?
Yeah, I'm stealing two. I would have to say I would love to see a GoldenEye remake. And it would be very similar to all the other like first-person shooter games that are available. But GoldenEye, there was something special about that. I don't know if it was because the best polished version of the PvP, but I think a remake of GoldenEye, and I'm stealing Rob Gauthier's suggestion, a Double Dragon remake. We've gotten a Battletoads remake. We need a Double Dragon remake, and they really need to. I don't know. I'd play the hell out of that, man. I certainly would.
I think the thing for GoldenEye for me was it's just its music. It had that kind of Cold War Russian style kind of like I couldn't do
It
it.
was
But
multiplayer too, guys.
yeah, that's
It was
Yeah.
multiplayer.
It was like a first of its kind. you know?
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're about out of time. Let's start with Chariot Man. Go ahead and introduce, or give yourself a shout out, and we'll go from you to Ryzak to Ray to Blake to Jeff to me, and then we'll do the outro and intro and stuff so everybody can see it again.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Well, this is Chariot. This is Chariot Man Gaming, CMG for short. You can check me right here on YouTube. YouTube. Also on Twitter at Chariot Man Gaming. Chariot Man Gaming Twitter. Chariot Man Gaming on YouTube. Chariot Man 85 on Instagram. We'll be making more content on the way. So more
Awesome.
coming.
Love the energy, man. Love it.
yeah.
One of my fellow Thursday Stadia bashers right there.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm Ryzak Gaming, Twitter Ryzak Gaming, YouTube Ryzak Gaming. Check me out Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, Stadia Bash Community Network. We're running the show Game Over every other week. It's been a blast so far. So please come and join. And if you want to be a contestant on the game show, let me know too. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Before you go to Ray, I want to say thank you guys. This was awesome. So much fun talking to you guys. This show is going to be fantastic. And anytime I'm gonna speak for Chariot here. Anytime you want us back, you let us know. We'll come.
Cool.
Definitely.
Thank you, Ryzak. I am Ray3473, and I am the Gaming Cyborg. I work behind the scenes on the SBCN, trying to get talent on there, and you guys always see me on Twitter, Ray3473, and I don't just root for the SBCN, but I root for everybody. Plus, guys, I do a shock with my good friend Rock. We got season 2 coming out, and guys, catch me. I'm also here now on Retro Rewind, and I'm with Dr. Spaceman, Vet, and JD on Cloud Station. And that's about it, y'all.
Ray, you need a radio station. I'm telling you. Every time I hear you, I love hearing your voice. Honestly. No, my name is Blake. I am Blake Stadia. You can find me on Twitter as Blake Stadia. You can also find me on YouTube under as Blake Stadia. I give you 100% Stadia content, whether it will be live streams, whether it will be things that's going on within the Stadia world. But I am all about the good old, lovely and amazing Stadia. And also you find me here every 2 weeks with the amazing William and the rest of the crew here for the Retro Rewind.
And I am Jeff Janak on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's all the same. Even wear the shirt with the name on it, which when you're out in public, people are like, what is that? Not anymore. They kind of know. Now they just add me. I saw you walking down with your shirt on. I do Monday night, I stream some Stadia. Friday nights, I do a retro stream on, currently it's on PlayStation, but we'll be expanding that out. On Twitch and Facebook, I've sort of slowed down doing my Madden streams because I used to do Madden streams, but there's no new Madden content. They have given up on Madden 21. EA has officially for the year. And so probably come July when Madden Mobile comes out and Madden 22, then I'll be back to doing some more Madden content, some retro content, some Stadia content. We will do a retro sports show, all sports at some point. We'll see when we're going to do that. We haven't booked a date yet, but it'll just be all sports, which was my first genre, my first love. I play a lot of the other stuff. I suck at shooting. You can even ask my kids. They're like, how are you a level 140 something?
How many times have you shot at them?
Many.
Only one dislocated elbow.
Yeah, it was shoulder.
Many.
It was shoulder.
Many. They don't know
And
how
the
I
man
can still
did
be a
this.
level 141 in Red Dead and I still can't hit the broadside of a barn. So,
Ooh, fighting golf. I like that.
yeah.
Uncle Pooper Trooper.
Well, Ray's aim is on point. You can ask Sparkles. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to the very first episode of Retro Rewind. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for participating in the chat. You guys have made this a success. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys now with the intro, and then I'm going to do the outro. So I hope you guys enjoy
this intro. Check this intro out.
Check this out.
Check this intro.
Like I got
Intro's
goosebumps
really
right
good.
now.
You're gonna love it.
Check
Love
that
it,
intro.
guys.
Check that intro.